Hello everybody, welcome back to another stream. We are in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 today, and we are looking at a brand new product from Black Square. There's actually two products sort of all bundled together which recently came out, which is the Bonanza and also the Beechcraft Baron. So I do just need to get the little overlay at the top working here. Alrighty, so that should be good to go now, hopefully. There it is. Alright, good. So we are here in the Beechcraft Bonanza from Black Square, which just released. We are currently in the naturally aspirated version. You know what we can do? We can just head inside while we talk here. Alright, so we are in the naturally aspirated version. So you actually get, if you buy this bundle, link is in the description, you get 6 airframes to choose from for, I believe, £44 here in the UK, which is a fantastic price, as you'll see when you consider the quality of these add-ons. So you get for the Bonanza, you get the naturally aspirated version of this, you get the turbocharged version, and then you get the turbine conversion version, which is where someone quite literally stuck a PT6 into this Bonanza, which is absolutely insane. We will be flying that at some point. Then over on the Baron side, which is of course the twin engine, we have the naturally aspirated version, we have the turbo version, and then there is also the turbo pressurized version as well. And that, of course, you can get up to quite a high altitude since it is pressurized. You don't got to worry about being able to breathe and stuff like that. But yeah, we are in the basically the slowest and the smallest one here for today's flight. It is still a lot of fun to fly, and we will get going here. I will just bring up Navigraph here, and hopefully I can show you guys the route today. Now, all the traffic you can hear in the background is from Sane Tensions traffic. I'll give you a little showcase of that. Is the Sane Tensions injected traffic. So, here we are. I don't know why all this is highlighted. Here we are. We're outside of, just outside of Wichita, actually, in Kansas, at Beech Factory. This is Beechcraft HQ. So I thought it would be a pretty cool place to be flying today. We're here at Beech HQ, Beech Factory. We are going to be departing runway 01 most likely. And then we're heading over to Regal, Varna, and then we'll do the RNAV runway 02 into Dodge City Regional, which is just... I don't know about this airport. I just found it close by. It's about an hour away from where we are now. So it makes for a good flight. I did a test sector earlier. It's really fun. I did get a freeware from flightsim.to for this scenery, which is not too bad. So we've got some nice scenery as well. Should be a really fun GA flight. We are going to be IFR, so it's going to be an IFR flight today, following this flight plan. If we go to the briefing up here, well, as you can see, we'll be up at 6,000 feet today, which isn't too high. But of course, we're not pressurized or anything, so that's perfectly fine for today. So, here is the aircraft, and it is beautiful. Let's hit Shift C and go into walk around mode. There we are. We currently have the chocks and the pitot covers on. There are other static elements, which I can show you. If we go to the tablet here, you can see the engine cover, external power, engine heater, and all of that appears, and it does indeed work. Now, we don't need the heater or the power today, or the engine cover. So we'll head back into the walk around menu. And what we can do, it looks like there's a jet taxiing there. It is a bit loud. We will remove the chocks, and we will remove the probe cover there. And we will begin our workaround. So, our walk around even. We'll remove the control lock. And what I will do is, I will, it's pretty much what I do for the aircraft I fly, the 152 I fly. So I'm pretty much carrying that procedure across today. I like to turn the battery on, get all the exterior lights on, so all of these here, and then we can hop outside and check that the lights are working. So, you can see here we've got the nav light, we've got the strobe light working, we've got the taxi and the landing light working as well, and then we've got the strobe, the nav again, and the beacon there. You can see just about it's flashing. And up there, the beacon is flashing as well. So now we don't want to drain the battery, so the lights can go back off, and so can the battery. Hop back outside and do our walk around here. So if we close this door, we can grab the flap, make sure that's not moving anywhere, it's locked, and we can check the flight controls here. Of course, you do a visual inspection for damage and anything like that as well. And all the time just having a look around, looking for any signs of damage or anything that shouldn't be how it is. Looking at the propeller now for any damage, looking at the intakes here as well, for anything blocking any of that. But that looks good to me. Again, checking the leading edge, all looks good. We can check the aileron on this side as well. That looks good. We'll just send this. There it is. And heading to the tail plane here. Welcome everyone. I'm not seeing anything in chat, so I don't know if that's just something my side or... yeah, at the minute I'm not actually seeing anything in the chat. We got the elevators going here. We can check those are working, and we have the rudder is all free and correct. No damage that I can see. It's a pretty new looking aircraft today. But it looks good. So we'll close that door, we'll hop in to the aircraft here. Lovely. Alrighty, so that's the exterior walk around done. Let's see here. Our Volanta is going. So I do want to just show you this on Sane Tensions here. They added a few new features since we last flew. Hey Stan, welcome. How's it going, my friend? Glad to have you here. Beaufort UK, welcome. How's it going? So we have this live map of traffic now, and you can toggle things on and off as you can see, and you can change your layer if you did want to. But we have this live map, and what this shows is all the traffic in the area that Sane Tensions is injecting, which is really cool. And the pink ones are airborne aircraft. These are what happened? These are static, but you could see that jet. See this thing which took off earlier, which is really cool for just situational awareness. It's absolutely fantastic. I was watching on the telly, hence no chat. Ah, I see. Thank you very much for your kind comments, though. Really, really appreciate it. Yeah, so this is a really cool feature, especially for those using injected traffic. I do just have GA traffic on. I've got it to the absolute max, and it's really immersive, actually. When I've been flying around my local airport, the one that I fly at in real life, it's really cool to hear the registrations of aircraft I fly at that airport, which is really cool. Once we get the avionics going and all that, and we're tuned to the frequency, you'll probably hear a lot of Beechcraft, considering this is Beechcraft HQ, but it's really cool. There is also this airport lookup, so we can choose an airport, you can search, and it will give you a load of information, which is really, really useful. Of course, the elevation, frequencies, runways as well, and you can see if there's SIDS or stars available, what kind of approaches are available, and I think this is where it is compared to me, and we got the length and the width here. Also, it gives you the ATIS and the META, which is really nice, because previously we kept having to tune the ATIS, of course, and listen to it just using the radios. Now we can just go over to this tab and take a look at the ATIS if we don't want to tune to ATIS and listen to the whole thing. We can just read it, and you get the META, and you do get TAF at some airports as well, which is really, really nice. I love this little feature. Checklist, I've not tried it yet. But yeah, that's all I wanted to show. Just a quick showcase. Sane Tensions, every time I load Sane Tensions, especially if I've had like a week or two break, there's always something new. There really is. So, we will get started here. Now, there is a couple of different interior options, and it does change. And so there's a panel. It does change based on sort of what livery you choose, which is really nice. So we've got a sort of more modern grey look in this today. If we change the livery, you'll get a sort of older upholstery sort of interior, which is really nice. But this is a beautiful, beautiful plane. Needless to say, with Black Square, the modeling, the textures are absolutely fantastic. We can take a bit of a closer look here. It is a very clean aircraft at the minute, but you can see it. You can see the right. Never get this close to the prop in real life, but look at the bug splatter and stuff like that. It is really, really nice. And we're heading to the side of the cockpit, and it's the same in here. Everything looks absolutely amazing, in my opinion. The sounds as well by Boris Audio Works are just amazing for both this and the Baron. We'll fly the Baron tomorrow, most likely tomorrow evening, or maybe the evening after on Wednesday. But the sounds are fantastic, and you'll hear that soon. Loads of cool features, almost too much to go through in a singular stream, but we'll try and get through as much as we can, because I really, really enjoy this aircraft. I've been flying it all weekend, and I'm having so much fun. And honestly, for £44, what's that? Around $55 or something. 6 airframes is a great price, especially at this quality level as well. So Black Square have really outdone themselves with this one. We do have, of course, the tablets. So you get all sorts of different avionics, as you can see here. The GNSs are the default Microsoft Flight Sim GNSs, I believe. The GTNs here, you can use the PMS GTN, which is freeware. I use the TDS, which is payware and higher quality, which is really, really nice. So I'm using the GTN devices today. Then there's a few options here, pretty standard stuff. The cloud strobe effect, this is really cool. I'm not sure we'll see it today. It's a really really lovely day here in Kansas. But there's loads of features inside here. There's a radar pod, so you can see here. We should be able to. There it is. There it's gone. That is for the weather radar, of course. So we will leave that on. We don't need it today, but we'll leave it on. I think it's quite unique. We got the tip tanks, so we can force tip tanks if we want. Just like that, but this type of aircraft doesn't necessarily doesn't normally have tip tanks, so we'll leave that off for now on this A36 here. Some VATSIM stuff and the dynamic registration stuff. I am on the SU4 beta, the latest beta. Payload, I will come back to this because we're going to set up payload in a second. Now this is where it gets really exciting, and I love black square aircraft for this reason. Now I have an aerospace engineering background, so this kind of stuff here is really, really exciting to me, and it's also a fantastic learning tool. So here we have a schematic of the engine. Just one engine is a piston engine, naturally aspirated, so actually quite simple in this aircraft. Now this schematic is live, so you can see the tanks here, you can see the oil, and as fuel gets added to the cylinders when we prime, you'll see that. You'll see the oil temperatures, all of that good stuff, the mags working as well if we when we turn them on and when we go for the starter, and then the pistons will move and all sorts when we start the engine. So this will be one to show you when we start the engine, but this is really cool, and especially for the turbine, being able to just look at what's happening in the engine with your oil, your fuel, your air, it's really, really cool, and it just shows the level of detail. The engine is a full physics simulated engine, so the time it takes to start depends on lots of environmental factors, your fuel, your air pressure, your air temperature, all of that good stuff. So the time to start is always random. Now, it's a pretty cold day, so we may actually have a bit of trouble starting. I did a test flight, and it took a few seconds to start, and I had to prime it a bit more to actually get it going earlier, which is really nice. It's not just a set start time. It's not necessarily always going to start. It's pretty much totally random, but it's all based on physics. And then you can, you can repair it. If you treat your engine wrong, you will do damage as well. So we got to be careful. You can then repair it. You can clear the cylinders, the plugs, repair the starter, recharge the battery as well. We don't want to run out of battery power. You got the same sort of electrical system schematic here. These will go green as they're on and connected to the main bus or the avionics bus. You can see how the avionics bus is totally separated from the main bus by these relays and the avionics master switch, of course. And all the circuit breakers and stuff are fully modeled and working as well, which is really nice. We got a whole cabin air simulation here, really useful for trying to figure out how this how this system works. You got a pulse oximeter here, really important. Your oxygen, your outside temperature, all that good stuff, and failures. And there is a ridiculous amount of failures. I think something like over 200, which is amazing. Now they all work off a mean time between failures, and it's from NASA data, I believe, as are all black square products, or at least the newer ones. We have it off today, as you can see. Oh no, actually we do have it on. We're on MTBF mode, and we're on 1x real time, which is really nice. Do we actually? We don't have any failures. Good. All right. So, on my test sectors, I guess I've flown the plane well enough to not break anything. That's good. But yeah, so many options in this tablet, and the tablet itself and the texturing. Like move it around. Look at the fingerprints and the dirt and grime on that. That needs a clean, doesn't it? Yeah, really nice. And you can just stow it by putting it over there, but I tend to just leave it out and stick it sort of over here. In fact, I have a view set up just like that. So I'll place that there. Perfect. All righty. So let's just do our payload first things first, and then we'll get into the checklists, as it does have integrated checklists with the Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 sort of app here. Checklist, and you got all the checklists, and you've got in-flights, even got engine failure checklist, post-flight, and you got a load of engine failures and alternator failure, instrument air failure checklist. So running failures in this is going to be a lot of fun as well, which we should do at some point. Owen, welcome. How's it going, my friend? Glad to have you here. Alrighty, so let me get rid of that for a second, and we'll do our weight and balance. Now, I'm going to leave 76 liters, gives us 3 hours. That should be perfectly fine. In fact, I will go up slightly. Let's go to 95 liters. That'll do us, I think. We have some passengers. We'll stick them on board. CG is looking really nice at the minute, so that's good. We'll leave it there. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and get the aircraft started. So, we'll go to pre-flight before start checklist then. So, we've done the pre-flight inspection. Control locks have been removed. Seats and seatbelts are secure. Cabin doors are latched, which are at the back here. So that will open and we'll, close that. Perfect. Parking brake is set, which is this here. Emergency gear handle is stowed. So that is stowed. You can click the little eye icon if you can't find something in the cockpit and it will tell you where it is. That is stowed. Avionics breakers are all in. So avionics breakers, they're all in, and the main breakers, we'll check them at the same time, are all in as well. I'm very well, thank you, Owen. Really well. Really been having a lot of fun flying this aircraft here. How are you? Alright. Right, so the flaps are up. The oxygen pressure between 1950 and 1850 psi, more than enough. We wouldn't be using oxygen today anyway, so that's not too much of an issue. Avionics are off. The throttle is closed. Propeller is in high RPM. That's the blue lever here. Using our Honeycomb Bravo today. Make sure we can put that to full rich. Cowl flaps open, which is down here. We'll open those. Aileron trim is centered. Alternate air is off, which is this right here. So that's off. Firewall valve open push. So that's this red one here. We can make sure that's pushed all the way in. Landing gear is down. Sub panel switches are all off. Load meter is on primary. Main breakers are all in. We checked that. Alternate static air is down here. As you can see, there's a big arrow pointing to it. It's this red lever here. So that's in the abnormal position, and that's now in the normal position. CO detector test. So that's down here. We can hold the red button, and we get 2 lights. That is working. Good. Right, so fuel selector, fullest tank. It's currently on the left tank. They are both equal, so we'll leave it on the left tank for now. Beacon light can go on, like that. Battery master can go on. And you'll hear the aircraft come to life. Battery master is on bus volts 23 volts minimum. So we can see here we have just about 25 volts, so we're good there. Annunciators test and consider. So we can ignore that one, that's perfectly fine. We can test the rest, and they're all good. Primary alternator and the standby alternator can come on. Fuel quantities, so we have just under between 3/4 and a half is what we have at the minute, so that's perfectly fine. And then we check the fuel pump, and you'll hear it audibly. So, low, high, low, off, so that's working as required. Standby gyro pump on, and what you'll see here is you'll hear it, and you'll see our gyro come to life as well with the standby gyro pump. Of course, normally it's engine driven, but here you can see it comes up on the annunciator for a second. The gyro spins up and starts working, and you can hear it as well. We'll turn that off. That's only for any failures and stuff. We don't need that. Instrument air. Oh, I forgot. When this is on, we should check the instrument air is in the green as well, which it is. And that's the pre-flight done. So, the engine start for cold start then. Mixture is full rich. Propeller is in the high RPM position. Throttle full open. And we're going to prime the aircraft now, essentially. So, if we go to the engine over here. And as I turn the aux fuel pump on, you can see here, you'll see some fuel. You'll see sort of blue bars. You'll see the fuel going to the piston. Now, you don't add too much, otherwise we'll flood the engine. We don't want to do that. As I do this as well, I'm going to go into high for 3 seconds. And I'm going to check my fuel flow is in the green, so above 3 gallons an hour. So, in the high position. 1, 2, 3. Back to low. I saw we had 7 on the fuel fuel flow, and see how we have a little bit of fuel now in the pistons, which is exactly what we want for the priming. So all of this is done. So now we'll open the throttle a ½ inch, and we'll start the engine. We'll open the window for this, for the sounds, to both, and hopefully we get this started quick here. Clip up. There we are. And we're alive. We'll set the RPM to about 1200. There we are. Alright, so T's and P's are in the green and the starter warning light is out. Good. And we can close the door now. So, engine is running. Everything looks good. The temperatures will come up. They're fine. We'll monitor those. And the RPM is at about 1200. Now, another interesting feature in this aircraft is the needles can actually get stuck. You can see it flickering here just like it does in real life. The needles can actually get stuck. And just like in real life, you can tap on the gauge to try and get it to unstick. To do that, you click it, and you hear the sound like tapping on glass here. It's quite quiet, but it's a really cool little feature. I love that. And you can see how now the engine is running, and you can see what's happening here with the pistons. Obviously, they're running super quick. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful stuff. You can see our exhaust gas as well. Lovely. So, we'll continue on with the checklist then. Start to engage throttle between 1000 and 1200 RPM, that's fine. You can see there's a hot start and a flooded start procedure as well. After starting then, so a throttle between 1000 and 1200, which it is. Oil pressure in the green. So we got pressure here, it's in the green, the temperature is in the green as well. The starter annunciator light is out, low volts is extinguished on the dash here. Alternator load 25 amps, which it is. Bus volts 28 amps, which it is. Engine instruments check, so everything looks good here. We'll wait for those temperatures to rise as well. We'll keep an eye on those, they will rise, but it is cold outside. 24 degrees in the cabin here, we got a bit of heat, as you can see, coming into the aircraft, which is good. Lights as required, so we'll get the nav light on for now, and the panel light as well, just because I like it. Weather radar is off standby, which it is. Avionics can come on now. There we are. Avionics coming online. We've got the TDS Garmin devices here. Let those fire up. Lovely. Alright. So continue. That's all good. Alright. We'll do our flight plan in a second here. I'm just going to continue with the after start checklist. Cabin air and
system
heat,
test okay.
Is as desired. Air conditioning is as desired. 24 degrees is maybe slightly warm, but not too bad for now. Mixture, I'm going to leave at Port Rich for now for the takeoff, and then we'll lean it in cruise. Parking brake is and brake check. Right, so that's for the taxi. Okay, so we can go here now, and we can do our flight plans. So, as you can see here, we're starting at Kilo Bravo Echo Charlie, Beech Factory. We can add the waypoint then, so we're going to Wriggle, which is Wriggle, there it is. And after that, we're actually taking the KBEC 176 airway, so we can click the load airway here, KBEC 176, all the way to Varna, and we'll load that. And then from there, we're going direct to Dodge City Regional, so a really quick flight plan here. We can go here, load procedure. Approach is going to be the RNAV02, and the transition is Jupno, and we'll load the approach. Lovely. That's pretty much done, so we'll go back to the map menu here. Good stuff. Now we can tune the correct frequency, but I'll just have a look at the ATIS here. for Beech Factory. So Beech Factory Airport Automated Weather Observation, 1935 Zulu. So that was about an hour ago. Wind 080 at 11, gusting 16, visibility 10, sky conditions clear, temperature 20 degrees, dew point 6. Oh, it's a warm day. Interesting. Dew point 6, altimeter 3021, density altitude 2000 feet. Okay. That's fine. So it's gusting 16 knots, but it shouldn't be too bad. Altimeter 3021, let's get that set. Over here, so 3021, which is about that. Same for the other side, 3021. Good. That is now displaying the airport elevation, essentially above mean sea level. We should be good to go. Let me just get the frequency I need here. We can talk to clearance and make our way out of here. So, Beech, so it'll be Wichita clearance 1250. Alright, let's talk to them. Wichita clearance Bonanza 8 Delta and Beech Factory Airport at the General Aviation ramp. Aircraft type Beechcraft Bonanza. Request IFR clearance to Dodge City Regional, please. Oh, made a bit of a mess of that one.
Nobody is listening on 124.85.
What? We're not on 124.85. Why are we on 1250, not 124.85? That's good they didn't hear you. Yeah, I know, right, Stan? See? Right, hang on. Why? Right, this is COM 1. We are definitely on COM 1. COM 1, and yet still reading. Just transferred that up, and maybe try and retransfer it. Saint Tensions just is picking up COM 2 for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why. Interesting. I don't know why it's picking up COM 2. Karen Tempe, welcome. How's it going? Interesting. It's just not wanting to change frequency. I think Saint Tensions is... Why is it not picking up the correct frequency? Let me try clicking it. Will that work? What is forcing the frequency on Saint Tensions? Try 1250. Is that gonna work? Of course, I've done 3 or 4 test flights in this, and I had the issue. I don't think it's an aircraft issue. I'm pretty sure it's a Saint Tensions issue. Very interesting. What if we tried this? Might delete my flight plan, but switch out the K lens. 750, 650 not syncing. Yeah, I'm not sure why. Well, the frequency's changed in the aircraft no issue. It's same tensions, it's just totally picking up. You can see I've got 1250, 1250 in both COM 1 and 2. And same tension is still picking up 124850. Regardless of what I set in the sim. So this must be an issue with the same tensions and the frequencies for whatever reason. Let me try that. Look at the 750 upper corner. Oh, I just removed it. Hang on. I will switch it back. But it doesn't seem to be an avionics issue. That I can see at least. Okay, we'll redo our flight plan, not an issue.
TOS, system test okay.
It definitely picks up. Maybe I just restart say intentions here. My apologies, guys. We'll try and get in the air. If the say intentions just doesn't want to work, then we will. There we are. Now it's working. Alright, good. Let me do this flight plan real quick. And then we should be good to go here. That is the wrong one. Barner. Dodge City. We'll load procedure, approach. On AV02, transition of no load. Okay, now we're back there. Now we can talk to HC. Alright. But a little bit of fuel, but it's not too bad.
Good evening, Claire, or good morning, Claire.
And there we are. We can hear someone else. So that's always good.
Romeo Foxtrot.
Engine is heating up slowly. That's good.
Kilo Delta Delta Charlie.
We'll wait for the.
Clearance on request. Stand by.
Alright, let's.
Flight 401 would like to pick up my IFR to Nassau.
One second
got a
while
clearance.
I grab the paperwork.
And we'll do it properly this time, hopefully. Wichita clearance Bonanza 408 Delta aircraft type Beechcraft Bonanza at the Beech Factory GA apron. Request IFR clearance to Dodge City Regional. That was a little bit better.
I am working on that clearance. Stand by.
Alright. So, say intentions just needed a restart, that was it.
Bonanza 8 Delta Delta. Cleared to Dodge City Regional. Radar vectors wrinkled, then as filed. Climb and maintain 6000. Departure on 134.8. Squawk 5722. Expect runway 1.
Clear to Dodge City Regional, radar vectors wriggled then as filed. Climb maintain 6000, departure on 134.8. Squawk 5722, expect runway 1. Bonanza 8 Delta Delta. Alright. So, 6000, we'll put that in.
Bonanza 8 Delta Delta, read back correct.
I'm going to put my departure frequency in here so I remember it. 1348. And we'll just leave that there. Come
flight 401, looking to pick
come
my
to
IFR Nassau.
I am working on that clearance. Stand by.
come to should be 1215.
Clearance citation 112 Charlie is at Cessna Aircraft Field. We are IFR to Melbourne with.
We can now head over to the ground control. 1217.
Stand by for your clearance.
So we'll go over to ground, and then we'll also put the tower frequency in 1268 into standby. Good stuff. That can go there. We've got the departure frequency. We need to squawk 5722. So we'll enter that. We should be on standby. 5722 is good. Runway 1. Okay, not an issue. How's the intentions for the UK VFR comms basic service zone transit? I'm a PPL student in the UK and be a great practice tool if it has this. Yeah, so I'm also a PPL student in the UK. Based on my current sort of findings, it's pretty good with UK VFR. They actually have a whole section dedicated to it on their Discord. So if you do notice inaccuracies and stuff, you can sort of report it. So far for me, it's been pretty good, but I haven't got into the more sort of advanced stuff of sort of zone transits and stuff. I've not done that in real life yet, and therefore I've not actually tried it in the sim. But I might sort of read up on that and test it with say intentions. But so far with VFR stuff, it's pretty useful. I did some circuits the other day around my local airfield, just basic circuits. I had the GA traffic on, so I had other, you know, AI generated or AI placed GA traffic flying around the airport. It was a lot of fun, and for VFR comms, it's not too bad at all.
Clearance on request. Stand by.
And it's always getting better as well, to be fair. This has definitely helped me during my PPL with comms and sort of maintaining currency when we have terrible weather and can't fly for 3 weeks, you know.
Clearance from Kilo Bravo Echo Charlie.
No worries, no worries.
India Charlie Tango.
Alright.
I'm
we'll speak to ground.
Runway 19 at Kilo Bravo Echo Charlie.
See if we can get our taxi clearance.
November 8620, runway 1 taxi via Foxtrot, Charlie, Charlie 2.
Runway 1 taxi via Foxtrot, Charlie, Charlie.
Standard is, especially when you change the, especially when if you go into the settings in Pilot Portal, there's a load of new settings regarding that where it's really strict, and it doesn't, you can sort of tell it how many mistakes to accept, and for me, I've got it set that it doesn't accept any mistakes, and will give me a phone number. It's quite good in that regard. Right, let's talk to ATC.
Ground, IFR clearance, I'll pass.
Beechcraft Bonanza 8 Delta Delta, ready to taxi runway 1.
Roger, cleared El Paso, radar vectors to India Charlie Tango, then Aspire.
There's some lovely little views set up here as well.
Expect flight level 260, 10 minutes after departure. Departure on 134.8, squawk 3457, runway 19, 3 Yankee Tango.
Bonanza 408 Delta Delta, beach ground, runway 1, taxi via Foxtrot, Charlie, Charlie 2.
Runway 1, taxi via Foxtrot, Charlie, Charlie 2, Bonanza 8 Delta Delta. Definitely made me a better chart reader, absolutely. So, another feature, now we have our taxi clearance. You can see it's actually giving me my route in pink here. Again, super useful, especially at airports you're not familiar with. Now, yes, this is technically sort of, well, cheating, but it's still a lot of, it's still very useful. So it gives me the whole taxi route here. I can take a quick look and go, yep, okay, brilliant, I know where I'm going, kind of thing. So, yeah, really, really useful. See, there's a bunch of other aircraft around. Actually, none flying at the minute. It just show your route as well, as you can see. There's a couple of aircraft static on the ground, so we need to flip it around and go down here. So, now I wish I knew how to get these ground sort of marshals away in Microsoft Flight Sim. I have to tell them to, you know, maybe get away from a moving aircraft. Oh, look at that! That's a T6, yeah. Look at that, beautiful. Anyway, let's not get distracted by other people's planes. And we'll head on out of here. So we will get the taxi light on. Now, we may clip our wing there, but there's not much I can do. I have no idea how to tell them to go away. So, excuse me.
November 6907 Echo Mike, runway 1 taxi via Foxtrot Echo.
It's like a, there's a Baron there.
Runway 1 taxi via Foxtrot, Echo November 6907. Echo
this
Mike.
is just a default airport, and we know default airports and Microsoft flights are not fantastic, but it'll do the job for today. Now, all of that traffic you're seeing there is all injected by St. Engines.
We'll give way to the GA Skylane November 8620.
You can hear ATC trying to figure out what's going on. So,
give way to the GA latest Beechjet 7 Alpha Golf.
And what I might actually do, are you... No, they are waiting for me, okay. What I might do is pull off to the right here and do my run up. This looks like a decent area to do it. And get out the way. There's a Cirrus there. So we'll get out the way, let the Cessna go. Alright. Because we are actually facing into the wind at the minute, which is lovely. That's what we want. Actually, I just had a thought. It said runway 1, which would be this one here, and it's giving us our taxi up here and then coming back. Interesting. Foxtrot Charlie, Charlie 2. Foxtrot Charlie, this is Charlie 2. So, okay. Sometimes St. Engines will do this and give really strange taxi instructions. In theory, we should just be going down here, backtracking. We're not going to just take off at this point. That would be silly. So I will probably just backtrack and do my own thing. Because that is obviously... There's something going on there. So let's... I'll just set the brakes and we'll do our run up then. We'll just reset our RPM 1200. There it is. So, run up. Parking brake is on. Annunciators, test and consider. There's none on at the minute. And we can test them. They're all working. Remote compass slaved and aligned, so it's in slave here, and it's aligned. You can't actually adjust it. In this, it's already always aligned. So. Hey, Valorant, how's it going, my friend? Welcome. How's it going? Now, YouTube has changed people's names. They've sort of changed what people's names are on here, so I'm not sure why they've done that, which is slightly annoying. One for a hello, welcome. Yeah, they've changed the name, so I'm trying to just figure out who in the nicest possible way who everyone is. Yeah, it's changed people's names, but there you go.
Runway 1 taxi via Delta.
It's happened all the time. So yeah, I don't know why YouTube do this. They do it, and it's really frustrating. But anyway, welcome, One for. Glad to see you here. It has been a long time, my friend. It has been a long time. I got really busy. I just wasn't able to fly or stream or anything in the last sort of few weeks. So, but we are back. Right, make sure it is in the full reach position. Throttle can go up to 1700 RPM. So we do actually have a constant speed prop on this. So 1700. Last time for me, it was last week during my 737 class with a Ben. What's fantastic. That sounds great. Really, really nice. Exercise the propeller then. So exercise the blue lever here. We should see about 300 RPM decrease. There's a decrease, and when I say exercise prop, I just mean literally doing that, making sure it's working. Magneto, so we'll check for 150 RPM drop. And the other thing we check would be that the RPM drop isn't too different between, so normally within about 50 RPM, we don't want to see a difference in the mags either. So 2 clicks to the left, see about 150 RPM drop there. Back to both, we'll let it settle. 1 click to the left, and you can see it drops again, and it's pretty much exactly where it was on the other mag, so that's perfectly fine. And back to both. Lovely. Instrument air is in the green, which is down here. Primary alternator off, and we do a bit of an alternator check here. So Primary alternator off, you can see the alternator load has now gone to 0. Load meter can go to secondary. Now it's using the standby alternator. And you can see you've got alternator load. Turn it off, we're back to 0. And we can turn both on, put that back onto primary. That's our little alternator test done there. Alright, alternator load should be above 25 amps, which it is. Propeller heat on. And you can see the load increase, and you can see the prop volts up here. This should be between 20 and 25 amps, and sorry, this is amps, not volts, and it's on 25, which is good. Turn that off. This is TDS, yes, it's TDS 750 and 650. Throttle can go back to between 1000 and 1200, so I'll do 1200. The only reason I'm doing 1200 is because in real life, in my Cessna 152, I use 1200, so it's just a little bit easier to remember. For me personally, I know some people use 1000. It doesn't really make too much of a difference. Electric trim exercise, and I will center it while I'm at it. Heading bug. Right, so this is a sort of autopilot test. I'm not going to do it. It's where you essentially you move the heading bug left and right, and you have the autopilot on heading, and you'll see the aircraft will want to roll left and right. I'm going to skip it. It's a bit long. It does all work, but I don't really want to do it. I will set my heading bug to 010 though, which is that. Alright, so runway heading is set. I'll go skip all the way to here. Elevator trim is set for takeoff. Flaps, they are operational, so we'll go down one. They're really quiet as well, which I noticed compared to the ones in my little 152. Currently using the PMS. Yeah, I've not actually tried the PMS because I've just always had the TDS, but I've heard it's a decent sort of free alternative. We'll leave them in the approach position for the takeoff, that's fine. Windows are closed, good. Aft door annunciator is extinguished. Flight controls are for incorrect. Altimeter is set. Departure altitude 6000 is set. Takeoff heading is set. Panel lights and parking brake. That's all good to go. We can then go for the before takeoff. I'll do it now. Mixture is on max. The oil temperature 24 degrees minimal and is well above that, so we're good there. Aux fuel pump is off. Air conditioning is off, that's here. Landing lights will turn on as we get closer, as we enter the runway. So, right. It really wants me to go the other way, doesn't it? So let's do that, because obviously these guys are blocked slightly. That Bonanza looks great. Yeah, really nice. Yeah, TDS now has, of course, yeah, the Navigraph integration, so it's really nice. You actually get the RNAV chart will pull up automatically, which is really cool.
Ready to taxi.
So yeah, we're just gonna head this way.
Runway 1 taxi via Delta Foxtrot Echo.
Runway 1 taxi via Delta Foxtrot Echo.
And then what we'll do is we'll make a right turn, we'll backtrack, we'll turn around and take off, is the plan. But yeah, so the VFR traffic's really nice, but as you can see, not perfect.
Conquest 3 Charlie Quebec, runway 1 taxi via Foxtrot Echo.
Runway 1 taxi via Foxtrot
The taxi's really nice on the ground as well. Really, really nice. The way it taxis. Of course, I've never flown a Bonanza in real life. The only thing I've really flown is a Cessna 152, so it is a little bit different, of course, but still really fun to fly.
Hotel Zulu Victor Hotel uniform, give way to the GA Skylane.
It's strange seeing you with Microsoft Flight Sim.
Give way to the GA Skylane, Hotel Zulu Victor.
I'm really enjoying Microsoft Flight Sim though, I have to say. Especially with these black square products. They're just fantastic. They really are. Hey, Madras Pilot, welcome. How's it going, my friend? It's been a while. Hope you're well. Yes, same tensions, absolutely. Using same tensions today. Yes, black square on, yes. I was going to sort of give a review during the cruise, but I very honestly think black square products are at the minute the best GA in flight sim. I really enjoy them. And if you just watch the videos from the developer Nick over on the Just Flight YouTube channel, you can see how much passion there is for this aircraft. The sounds, the complexity, everything are just absolutely fantastic. And you know what? It flies really nicely too, even in Microsoft Flight Sim. It flies really nice. We'll reset 1200, we'll set the brakes, we'll contact tower here. I'll put tower on, and I'll put 1348 ready to go for the departure. Alright, we're at Echo. Beach Tower, Bonanza 8 Delta, holding short of the runway at Echo.
Bonanza 408 Delta Beach Tower, can you repeat that?
Beach Tower, Bonanza 8 Delta, holding short of the runway at Echo.
Bonanza 8 Delta, runway 1, wind 070 at 11, gusting 16. Fly runway heading, cleared for takeoff.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 1, fly runway heading, Bonanza 8 Delta. Alright. So, I'll release the parking brake here. Landing light on, strobe light on. We can set this to alt. We can do it two ways. We can do it in here, altitude reporting. There we are, that's now on alt, and we can put this on. Lovely. So, we've done all of that, and the takeoff checklist we don't really need. That's just throttle, brakes release, engine instruments, landing gear up, and all that good stuff. So we'll backtrack a little bit here. We caused a huge conga line behind us of GA aircraft waiting. Now we won't be needing all this runway, so I will turn around shortly. I'm not going to go to the end here. It's a what is it? A 8,000 foot? Yeah, 8,000 foot. 8,001 actually, to be precise, foot runway. We nowhere near need that for takeoff today. So I will probably turn around right about now. One thing I noticed straight away is the suspension model on this feels really good as you brake. You can see the nose dip in there. It feels really realistic. And when if you sort of turn at a higher speed on the ground, you can feel the aircraft rolling to the left and the right. The suspension model feels really good. Alrighty, we are ready for takeoff. We're going to rotate at 71 knots. At 80 knots we can put the flaps up, and we're going to climb out at about 110 knots here. So,
Bonanza 9 Bravo Echo, welcome to beach. Contact ground on
121.7. I will advance the power.
121.7, Bonanza 9 Bravo Echo.
There we are. So, T's and P's in the green. We've got maximum RPM. Airspeed is alive. Got a bit of a wind. There's 70 knots. We'll rotate there. Just like that, we're up and away. And we've got positive climb, gear can go up. We're maintaining the runway heading here. And I'm going to lower the nose slightly here to allow for some acceleration. We'll put the flaps up as well. And we'll climb out 110 knots. That's 100 knots there. Even though this thing is not turbocharged, it's still super powerful. Trim the aircraft. There's about 110 knots, so we'll hold that. Get the aircraft nicely in trim.
Bonanza 8 Delta Delta, contact departure on 134.8.
Contact departure 134.8, Bonanza 8 Delta Delta. Alright, let's contact departure. Beech Factory departure Bonanza 8 Delta Delta, climbing through altitude 2,800 for 6,000, flying runway heading. Make sure we are actually on runway heading. Another airport down there.
Bonanza 408 Delta Delta, Wichita departure, radar contact. Climb and maintain 6,000, turn left heading 270, vectors to Wrinkle, then is filed.
Climb maintain 6,000, left heading 270, vectors to Wrinkle, then is filed. Bonanza 8 Delta Delta. Left 270. Oh yes, left 270, yeah. Right. Let me, so. Heading mode.
Departure November 225, Quebec X-ray 2000 for 4,000.
And I can't see my autopilot. Right, autopilot engage. Now we'll set 270, which is due west.
November 225, Quebec X-ray, radar contact, maintain VFR
I can just lower the pitch slightly here.
Climb 5,000, November 225, Quebec X-ray.
No pressurization, not in this version. Beautiful. And what we're going to do for the climb out is I'm just going to set the RPM here to 2,500 for the RPM. That'll do us nicely for the climb out. Just lower the pitch slightly. We're still getting a good 1,000 feet per minute, so that's not bad. We're only about 1,000 to go. And what I will do here is go direct and go around There we are, so now we have flat direction nav AP. Good, alright. Lower the pitch a little bit more here.
And maintain 3,000.
And you don't need a turbocharger, you can go very high. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. There is the turbo normalized version. If we did want it, but for today this is absolutely fine. And there we are. Now we can do the en route climb. So make sure it's full power, propeller 2,500 RPM, throttle full open, cow flap as required, we'll leave it as it is. Oxygen as required, we don't need it, and we'll monitor the engine performance then. Temperature in the cabin is 17 degrees. I will actually get a little bit of heat going. Just a little bit. See what's going on here. You can see all the electrics. They are on. Connected to the bus. Cabin. You can see it's getting a little bit warmer. Really cool. Look at this air discomfort level as well. Beautiful. Alright, so we're at 6,000 now. And for cruise, basically what we want to do is we can leave the RPM at 2,500. Throttle is at full at the minute, and that leaves the manifold pressure at 24 inches, which is exactly what we want. That'll give us around 160 to 170 knots true of airspeed. Sorry, 176 knots true, about 160 indicated, roughly. Nice. Alright, we are cruising over Wichita, ladies and gentlemen. Over there to the left. And speaking of, we should probably lean the aircraft. Now, I'll be honest, I watched a 10-minute YouTube video on how to lean an aircraft because I've not done it in real life yet. So bear with me here, I'm going to do my best. I'm going to pull the mixture until I see a decrease in RPM and the horsepower decreases. So I'm looking for a peak in the horsepower as well as the RPM, and we're going to do a rich off peak lean today. So slowly pull the mixture, really slowly. see the horsepower increasing as the mixture of the fuel and air becomes better, really, more optimal. RPM will have a small increase probably. 218 horsepower, still pulling that mixture back slightly, 219 now. What's going on right now? Way off course here. Interesting. On nav. I should be on nav. I'm not on heading. See up here, I am on nav. This worked earlier, and now it's deciding not to. I'll tell you, I get all the issues when I stream. Hello, is that because did I accidentally touch that? Is that meant to be on GPS? Yep. Alright, that's why. I must have clicked that at some point. I think, no, I think to be fair, I think that's my issue. That's my fault, Stan. I had this in GPS, in nav rather than GPS. That's my fault. In nav, I believe it would follow VORs and ADFs rather than in GPS where it's following this. Now we should be good. I had a look on the map and we're going nowhere near where we meant to be. There's Wichita International. Alright, back on track. I must have clicked that button accidentally at some point. So yeah, let's get back to leaning then. We're at 219 horsepower. I'm going to pull the mixture. I got about 220 earlier, so let's see what we get this time. There's 220. 221. 222. In fact, we can go into lean R, which is lean rich. Richer peak. 222, 223, 224, 225. 26. See that cylinder 4 is now flashing. That's telling me that we are pretty close to being richer peak. 229. There we are. So now we've gone down. So we want to head back up to 229, and this is our peak. So now I want to add just a tiny little smidge, so we are rich of peak. There we are. See how we said lean est? That's what we want. All right. And 22 degrees. That's perfect for me. There we are, lovely. And the cabin back here is also very nice. See, there's a lovely table which slides out. Look at this, very executive. Lovely animations as well. What a lovely aircraft to travel in the back of. Now we're doing a lot better. So we can see here, interestingly, if I pull the heat here, you see how the heat will here will go red, and that's going to heat everything up through these vents. And you can close it. So if you watch this valve, there's a valve right here. You can see that moving. This is why I love this a lot. So you can set the target temperature, as you can see here, as well. So target 27 degrees, we want maybe 22-ish. There we are. So we can just leave it at that. Now yes, that is cheating slightly. You don't have all of this in real life, but it's useful. You can turn on the aircon. You'll see what that does to the cabin simulation here. See that that's on. Lower high, lower low, and you can see the animation change there. I'll cool things down. Really, really nice. using resources is not cheating. True. More just that we don't have a lovely tablet like this telling me the temperature and the target temperature in real life. But of course, it's there, we should use it. Alright, looking good. I do like that we also get, so there's a cruise checklist here we should probably do. Cow flaps closed, we'll close that. Landing light off. Taxi light can go off as well. Pitot heat on if OT less than 4 degrees. Also OAT 12 degrees, we're fine, we don't need it. Prop heat not needed. Fuel imbalance, you can see here. Got half a tank and we got just over half a tank. I will let this get a little bit lower and then we'll switch. Lean is, you can see LOP or ROP, so that's lean off peak or rich off peak. We are rich off peak at the minute. Prop 2500 RPM, throttle full open, which it is. That gives us 24 inches of manifold pressure. Cabin air heat as desired, aircon as desired, engine performance monitor. Good. We can also go here, which is really nice. There is a sane tension built app here, which gives you sane tensions, but in here you just download a little plugin. Really nice. You can actually add the checklist in here as well. So this is nice if you don't have a second monitor, you can keep this up. There's of course Navigraph, SimBrief dispatch as well that you can do. I do actually quite enjoy this. I wasn't a fan of this when Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 came out initially, but it is growing on me. Head back to the checklist and close that. Very nice. You can adjust the lighting here as well if you wanted to. Now you can see we're holding a nice 22 degrees here in the cabin, which is perfect. And the sounds are just beautiful. I love the sounds on this. Boris always does a fantastic job, whether it's the 737 sound pack he's done, the 777 sound pack he's done, or any of these Beechcraft products from Blacksquare. Just fantastic. I'm really enjoying the GA flying right now. Really enjoying GA flying. It's been quite a while actually. It's been a few weeks since I've flown an airline. I've just pretty much exclusively been GA, sort of the last 2 weeks-ish. Yeah, these Blacksquare products are just fantastic. Brilliant. There was a really fun VFR event on VATSIM last night in Sussex Shoreham. Oh really? I missed that. Totally missed that. I'll have to keep an eye out. Found a good practice for PPL. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I had about 23 hours on my PPL. And at the minute I've stopped flying for the minute. Because I'm due to start training. Full ATPL training all the way up to the airlines next year. So at the minute I've just stopped the PPL and then I'll resume training February of next year hopefully. But yeah, I can't say too much about it just yet, but I'll give details later on in a few months probably. Yeah, there is good reasons for that. I miss flying a lot, I really do, but got a good reason. Yes, yeah, off to ATPL, absolutely. All going well. But yeah, I'll provide a few more details about that, hopefully in a few months. Alright, I think now is a good time to switch the fuel. We don't want to go into the orange here ideally, so I'll switch it now. And just down here, we'll switch it to the left here. And now we're on the right fuel tank. Sorry, we'll switch it to the right, so now we're on the right fuel tank. There it is. Good stuff. Beautiful. Cruising here at 6,000. Very flat landscape here, not a huge amount to see. But since Beech Factory, the departure airport, is Beechcraft HQ, I thought it'd be a nice little flight. But I think tomorrow we'll fly the Baron, the twin, maybe the turbo version, or maybe even the pressurized, and we'll go all the way up to something like flight level, in I don't know, flight level 220, 240, something like that. In the Baron, with a pressurized version. Thinking somewhere in Europe, I don't know where. Maybe the UK, maybe Spain, something like that, who knows. Any suggestions, do let me know. But I'll find a nice route for that tomorrow, probably. Pressurized version, yeah, I think we'll do that. I think it's turbocharged. It will be, actually, I'm pretty sure, the pressurized version. Which is a lot of fun. And then there is the turbine, the PT6 conversion version of this, which we should fly at some point as well. Spain stops at LEAX if you can. Ooh, I don't know what that airport. I don't know what airport that is. Let me have a look. But that sounds interesting for sure. You can see our house at Melilla GM. Ah, it's South Spain. You know what? Wanfra? I will be heading to Jerez, Spain, potentially next year. So maybe we fly into Jerez, LEJR from LEAX. That looks like a fun flight, you know, down to South Spain. Maybe we follow the coast to Gibraltar, have a look at the Rock of Gibraltar, follow the coast back up into Jerez. Nice little VFR flight, but then at 220, I'm not sure in the flight levels what we can do much spotting. Maybe what we'll do is we'll do a nice IFR flight, and then once we finish our IFR flight, maybe into Jerez, we can do a nice VFR down the coast. But I'll definitely look at I'll look at that airport, absolutely. That looks like a lot of fun, South Spain. Oh, it's a small airport, isn't it? That does look good. I'll see if I can find some scenery. We've only visited Jerez once, but it's really nice, a good place to do your training. Exactly, Stan. Absolutely. Absolutely. Definitely looking forward to it. It'll beat the UK weather, that's for sure. Got a bit of fog over there. You can see here, as I said, holding 160 knots. Lovely. Used to go to Jerez a lot when I lived in Cadiz. Lovely. Fantastic. I'll have to ask you for some what kind of spots you know in Jerez then. Where to visit. Right, we can see all the different piston temperatures here. It's all looking fine for now. T's and P's are in the green. T's and P's meaning temperatures and pressures are all in the green. That's all good. So keeping an eye on the engine here. Nothing abnormal that I'm seeing, which is good. Used to watch F1 training in February. Yeah, of course, Jerez racetrack, not far from the airport. Which is really cool. It's a shame they don't do pre-season testing there anymore, but I know the F1 teams do still use it for their own internal testing and training and stuff, so that'll be really cool, hopefully. That'll be nice by the coast, yeah, exactly. Seville not too far away either. Gibraltar not far away, Faro not too far away. lovely looking aircraft. Look at that. I'll tell you, I can't wait for Chase Plane to come to Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 so we can get some lovely cinematics and flybys, because I'd love to be doing some flybys right now. Of course, in X-Plane it's easy, hit shift 4, not shift 4, shift 2 or shift 1 and you get a nice flyby. Not so much in Microsoft Flight Sim, unfortunately, but there you go. So we're getting to Havana now. We're going to make the right turn out towards the airport, Dodge City. Yeah, exactly. We need Chase Plane for 2024. Exactly. Hey, the cargo guy. Welcome. How's it going, my friend? Welcome. Looking good. You can have a look at the pulse oximeter here, 96%. That's perfectly fine. Of course, we're at 6,000, so air will be a little bit thinner up here, but no issue at all. If we went up to something like 10,000, 12,000, we'd start having issues. Really like the Garmin devices. Really like them. Much prefer them over the GNS 530s and 430s. I do not get along with those at all. Do not like them. Much prefer the GTNs. But I'm used to using the KX and KLNs, particularly the KX 155B is what we have in our. In fact, in the 152s I fly for my training, or used to fly. We had the KX 155Bs for our, radio and avionics, and then we had some retrofitting with a GTN 650 panel. So we never had the 750, too big for 152 really, but we had a lovely little 650, which was really nice. Yes, exactly. I think the GNS devices will be better in person. When you're actually flying, but I think, yeah, without proper hardware, trying to use it in a flight sim is not so easy at all. Very nice. Again, lovely FPS at the minute. We're not even using frame gen, we're not using lossless, because we're already on, what, 90 FPS, so we don't need anything. Probably because I have my settings turned down fairly low for airliners. I'd love to have sort of setting presets, so in GA aircraft I can pump the settings up a little bit. Just check Say Intention Discord, and you're right, the devs are on saying they've tried to be as compliant as possible with CAP 413. Indeed, yes, the CA comp standard. I need to try it now. Yeah, maybe we'll do a stream, maybe in the Baron, or let's see, no, Baron we're doing Spain. In one of our GA flights, we'll do some UK stuff. Do some nice VFR stuff. We can take a look. I'll brush up on my VFR comms, and we'll do a bit of that on stream. Because yeah, they do have an entire section on the Discord dedicated to it, which is really cool. They recently made it so that if you're in the UK as well, when you're talking to any controller or information frequency, you'll get a UK voice. Before, occasionally you'll fly into a UK based airport with an American, the ATC would have an American accent, for example, which isn't impossible, of course, but it happened more times than it probably would in real life. So they're getting the regional sort of accents and stuff, making them even better, actually, which is really cool. Alright, so now what we're doing is we're heading direct to the airport, and then we'll get vectors for the RNAV. And doing the RNAV in this is really easy. You activate it in here and you hit nav here and it does the rest for you. Super easy. There is even does your vertical track as well, which is really cool. Got some windmills down there. I wonder if here, this is how we can get, without looking at our tablet that is handy but you may not have in real life, that's how you get the OAT. I didn't know that. And then yeah, countdown. So this is really useful for when we're flying VFR, particularly without a GPS system. Using your time with your VFR chart is really useful. This is slightly easier version of the transponder to use than what I've used in the 152. We've got a pressure roll, flight time, OAT, density, altitude. Let's put it on flight time. I like that. There is a Hobbs timer down here as well. Very useful, of course. Now what it's going to do is it's going to vector us for the RNAV, and then it's going to there's no ATC for our arrival airport. It's just a flight information service really, or well, CTAF in the US. So it'll just hand us over to the CTAF frequency as we get closer. Yeah, cruising along nicely. See where my mixture is actually around half at the minute, maybe just about 60%. The mixture would seem to give us the best sort of performance. It means that we're burning less fuel as well, which is always good. Have a look at the fuel. Our left tank is still slightly lower.
Contact Wichita approach on 125.5.
Wichita approach 125.5. Bonanza 8 Delta Delta. Alright, we'll get a few frequency changes before we get handed off to CTAF. Wichita departure, Bonanza 8 Delta Delta, current altitude 6,000.
Bonanza 408 Delta Delta, Wichita departure. Good afternoon, Wichita, altimeter 3018.
Altimeter 3018, Bonanza 8 Delta Delta. Alright, 3018, let's update our altimeter here. 3018 set.
Radar contact, altitude restrictions canceled, maintain VFR.
3018 set, lovely. Beautiful, lovely clear day for flying out in Kansas today.
Stationair 1 Delta Zulu, radar contact. 59 report contact Kansas City Center on 118.35.
What kind of VFR traffic do we have around here? See all the VFR traffic we have around us.
X-ray contact Kansas City Center
Actually
on
quite cool.
118.8.
Here's Wichita where we departed, as you can see.
Quebec X-ray. Good day.
I'm not sure why it's not showing my...
118.8.
Yeah, there's a bit of a weather radar. There's a bit of weather down here, it looks like. Yeah, like I said, really nice for situational awareness. Just have a look around.
Stationair 9 Whiskey Papa contact Kansas City Center on 132.25.
Take another look at the engine, still at 2,500 RPM, manifold pressure at 24 inches. T's and P's all in the green.
Bravo contact Kansas City Center on 118.35. 1 Delta Zulu contact Kansas City Center on 127.8.
127.8 for stationary 1 Delta Zulu.
Go for a nice wing view for a little bit.
Cessna 54 Golf contact Wichita, departure on 134.85.
Yeah, really happy with these black square aircraft. I do have the Dukes, I've had those for a long time. I've got both the piston and the turbine Duke. Really enjoyed both. And of course now have the Baron and the Bonanza pack and the Starship, which we've not flown on the channel yet, so we'll fly the Starship at some point. Of course, a very unique, very cool looking aircraft. We'll definitely fly that. It's got some very interesting avionics. So yeah, we'll be flying that as well. So tomorrow, do a bit of Baron flying in the pressurized version down in Spain. That'll be a lot of fun. Of course, they do come. You can buy them separate for I think £34. That's British pounds. Which you get three. You get 3 Baron variants, or you get 3 Bonanza variants. Or you can buy the pack, which I absolutely recommend, of 6 different aircraft variants. 3 Baron, 3 Bonanza, and that's £44. So for just £10 more, or 11 or 12, well, I can't remember the prices, what they are exactly, you get another 3 aircraft variants. And I think for that price, considering the quality we getting as well, you know, the sounds, the modeling, the textures, the flight model, the system step especially, that is an absolutely fantastic price for these aircraft. I mean, 6 variants for £44 is fantastic. And, you know, it's not small changes. The turbo version has its systems, you know, differences with the turbo and all that good stuff. And then, of course, the turbine variant of this with the PT6 conversion is entirely different. That's a totally different aircraft, really, with the turbine. Definitely a lot of fun. Let's see. Still doing good. Go for a little nose view now, I think. Why are there so many circles? This is all farmland, right? I believe. If I'm not mistaken. It's all farmland in the US. Yeah, quite popular in the US. This kind of farming style, I believe. It's definitely to do with the farming and the way things work out there. Just listen to the sounds as we pan around the aircraft change. I mean, just fantastic. Sure, flyby will sound pretty amazing with this. Correct, farmland. Many fields are planned that way to protect crops in windy weather. Oh, interesting. Very interesting. Thank you very much, Stan. I wonder how does the circular shape protect it from the wind? I'm just trying to think about how that works. That's interesting for sure. Yeah, this type of farming I've not seen anywhere in Europe, at least. Particularly not in the UK. Not when I've ever been flying around Europe. Never seen it. I've only ever noticed it in the US, really. I do like little details here with the do not open in flight. It's like buildings being built as a hexagon in hurricane areas. Why has many? Oh, right, I see. Very interesting. That is actually really interesting. I might have a Google at that later. I'm sure there'll be a lovely YouTube video somewhere on why crop fields in the US are circular. Obviously to do with the wind, as Stan says. I'm really impressed with the autopilot on this as well. Doing a fantastic job when you set it up correctly. Mostly for UFO landing. Absolutely. Irrigation systems. Right, there you go. Let's see, about 13 nautical miles away from the airport at the minute. Oh yes, and the other thing I didn't mention is, of course, Pocket Sky, which is Saint Tension's mobile app, does have the map feature as well. So you can actually, on a tablet or something, have Pocket Sky open and have all your Saint Tension stuff on there as well, if you prefer, which is really nice. Sort of a EFB sort of app. I'll tell you, Saint Tensions, I think Stan mentioned it earlier, Saint Tensions is really getting up there, for me at least. I know it's expensive, and of course the subscription service, but with the amount of new features that are being added at this pace, you know, things aren't perfect. Saint Tensions makes mistakes, quite a lot of them sometimes, in terms of the actual ATC and even traffic injection, but the amount of features which are being added makes, for me, the subscription worth it. You know, I do definitely feel like we're getting updates, we're getting improvements constantly, and constantly getting new, really useful features as well. Sort of like Navigraph. You know, Navigraph is of course another subscription, but we're getting new features constantly, fantastic features, and the quality of that is absolutely insane. You know, two very good services in my opinion. Of course there is Beyond ATC, but the main drawback for me with that, I've not tried it myself, but for me the main drawback is I believe it lacks VFR traffic, or I think VFR comms at least. I might be wrong on that, do correct me if I am wrong, but the main downside for me with Beyond ATC is the fact that it doesn't support X-Plane, which of course is an issue. So Saint Tensions is fantastic for me because, you know, it runs Microsoft Flight Sim and X-Plane all on the same service, which is really useful. You can see the temps creeping up here, the oil temp. Keeping an eye on it, it should be fine for now. Not an issue. You can see the scales actually, it can be misleading at times with the way the scale is. It goes from 40 to 80 and then 120, but in a much smaller sort of scale. But should be perfectly fine here. See, we're still at just above 160 now, around 163, 164. indicated at least. Cabin temp 21 degrees, looking good. 12 degrees outside. Nice. I do enjoy hand flying this thing as well. I really, really do. See, with Microsoft Flight Sim, of course, the visuals are stunning. There's no doubt about that. The flight model by default, I'm not a huge fan of in Microsoft Flight Sim as a very general sort of statement. If you try the default 152, for example, it flies nothing like a real 152. So I think the default aircraft have some flight model issues, potentially the way they've been ported from 2020. But I think where 2024 shines is in the add-on aircraft, such as the one we're flying right now, where the developer's done so much work to tune that flight model. It flies really nice, you know. Phoenix have taken quite a large amount of their flight model totally out of the sim, and those calculations are done externally from the sim in their own software running in the back end. So I think these add-on aircraft taking more and more in terms of the flight model and the physics outside of the sim, and then using the sim really as a basis for the graphics is really what it is, and the rest is sort of calculated outside of the sim. But it makes for some fantastic products. You know, the Phoenix flies lovely now, really, really nice. Never flown an A320, so I'm not the best person to ask regarding the flight model of the Phoenix, but from what I know, it flies really nicely. B1, a Airbus captain, fantastic streamer, you'll all know him. You know, really, really enjoys the flight model of the Phoenix. So for me, that's good enough. The PMDG aircraft flight models are still, I think, need tweaking. Of course, we don't have the 737s yet, but we do have the 777s. I think they need tweaking a little bit, especially the taxi physics are very, very twitchy and horrible. There's no inertia to it. That needs work for sure, but you know, these black square aircraft, for example, just fly beautifully. They taxi really well as well, really, really nice. You know, you can feel the inertia. Even though it's a fairly light aircraft, fairly small aircraft, you can feel the inertia. These add-on aircraft, when you get a good quality add-on into Microsoft Flight Sim 2024, it's such a good match. You know, such a good match. I mean, it flies well, it looks great, it sounds amazing, thanks to Boris. Plenty of systems depth here. Incredible. I forgot to mention as well, there is a headphone simulation here, which isn't just a muffle. So this doesn't just sort of muffle and tone down sounds. It is a full headphone simulation. So certain things that would come through your headphones will be a bit louder. Sort of static and interference will be a bit louder. It is a full sort of headphone simulation, which is really cool. And you can turn it on or off, and you can turn the noise cancelling setting up and down as well. You can see I'll turn it up quite high there. But you can still hear that sort of buzz from the noise cancelling, because it can't noise cancel everything. But it sort of, it does its best, right? How do I turn it down? There we are. I can turn it down a bit. Stick it around here. We'll turn it off for now, though. Really, really cool. Alright. Yeah, one for, as you say, default aircraft or default aircraft, exactly. But I do think that if you took the default 172 in Microsoft Flight Sim and compared it to the default 172 in X-Plane, the flight model by default in X-Plane is just better. I think it requires less work from the developer to be accurate. But having said that, you know, when developers really put their mind to it, the flight model in 2024 can actually be quite good. As we've proven with, you know, this aircraft, the Dukes, the Starship, the Phoenix. The iFly 737 flies pretty nice. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this combo. GA with Black Square products in Microsoft Flight Sim 2024. I think it's a fantastic combination. Really, really nice. Alright, well, Dodge City is just in front of us. Out over here, and I think, in fact, there's the airport. Now, St. Tensions has paused my ATC, and I don't know why. It doesn't think the aircraft is moving. I might just have to disconnect entirely from ATC. St. Tensions has been playing up today. It's lost tracking entirely, in fact. How do I refresh it? Maybe I close it and restart it. Let's see. If not, we'll just not use comms for now, I suppose. Because clearly it's a bit bugged at the minute. It did update just before this the stream, so it could very well just be that. But I would expect to have been given
Delta Delta, contact Kansas City approach on 125.2.
Okay, now we're working. Kansas City approach 125.2. Bonanza 8 Delta Delta. Alright, yeah.
Sierra Quebec contact Wichita departure on 134.85.
So it had a little upsea and crashed, I suppose. Kansas City approach Bonanza 8 Delta Delta.
Bonanza 408 Delta Delta, Kansas City departure. Good afternoon, Dodge altimeter 3018.
Altimeter 3018, thank you very much. Bonanza 8 Delta Delta. Okay. So 3018, we're already on that, aren't we? So we are overhead the airport now. There it is.
Frontier 3912 contact Kansas
should
City
give
Center
us
on 120.725.
hopefully. I might just ask for vectors. A departure Bonanza 8 Delta Delta, request vectors for the RNAV 02.
King Air 6622 Mike, Kansas City Center. Clear to New Century. Radar vectors Cutto then as filed. Climb and maintain flight level 260. Departure on 120.725. Squawk 5147.
Bonanza 8 Delta Delta, runway 2 RNAV approach vectors approved. Turn right heading 015, descend and maintain 2500.
You know what? I think what I'm gonna do is this. Kansas City will be switching to the CTF frequency. Bonanza 8 Delta Delta. It's an untowered airport anyway, we don't actually need to be talking to them at the minute, so I will just switch because it crashed and now it doesn't
Bonanza 8
really
Delta Delta, roger, stand by for frequency change instructions.
Is it 1227? Okay, now we do our own thing. You can see our approach here. We're going to turn around Turo. Well, we'll go to Jupno and then make a right turn to Turo. Now, according to the charts, so we have, so we can have 2,883 feet as our minimums. So we can set that here, 2,880. So we'll set to 900, that's fine. 2,900 on our radio altimeter. At Turo, which is here, in fact, we descend to 4,600 as you can see, and then we keep that until Charlie November India Delta Alpha, and then we start the descent down. Because the airport elevation is 2,600 feet. So of course when ATC just tried to tell me to descend to 2,500, that is in the ground, so we don't want to do that. what I might do is we'll fly this whole approach actually. Then we'll join the RNAV. What we might do is we might do vectors to Raven, so they're going all the way out here, or we can just follow this path here. That should actually do us just fine.
Vertical track.
So you just said vertical track, which means you can see our TOD that's already calculated for us, which is absolutely fantastic. So we're prepared to descend in a few seconds here. And I am actually thinking we go direct to CNIDA over here as a bit of a shortcut. Or we just maintain. I think we maintain. Let's not overcomplicate things. We will run our descent checklist though. Cowl flaps is closed. Throttle will reduce that as required. Make sure will be full rich, and then we'll monitor the performance and the cylinder head temperatures. So for the descent here, we'll go full rich. We'll lose a bit of power, but that's not too much of an issue. You can hear the RPM go down just a touch. We'll go 4,600. Alright. And we'll just hit down on here. And we'll start descending. There we are. Should be 4,600. Go off alt and then hit pitch. There we are. Alright, now we're descending nicely. We'll pull the power back just a little bit. I don't want to overspeed. And I will go down a little bit more. I will now go into procedure and activate the approach. There it is. Lovely. And I will hit approach. And now with the GS is active, lovely stuff. We are descending slowly down to 4,600. I will increase the rate of descent slightly. Lovely stuff, alright. Pull the power a little bit more. Just edging into that yellow zone, which is not an issue, but we do want to slow it down a little bit. Why are we in the hold? I think he wants to go back round to that waypoint, that's why. Okay. So what we actually want to do is let's do this direct. Right. That should do us just fine. That's not what I want to do. We'll go nav and now continue descending. Well, I did the approach perfectly first time this morning. Come on. Descend for me. There it is. That'll do is just fine. It's going to stop descending shortly. And what I will do now is, I should have done vectors to finals, what I should have done. And now I will go heading mode here. We'll just do 3-3 for now. There we go. Heading mode. 4,600, perfect. And then we will arm the approach like that. Okay, now we should be intercepting here. It is runway 02, so let me put that in. 02, the course, well I should put the course in, shouldn't I? 024, which is like that. We'll set the runway heading as well. There it is. Alright, so now we should be intercepting here very shortly.
Dodge traffic, November 557 Sierra, Mike taxiing to runway 2, Dodge.
There it is. There's a right turn as we intercept that, and we have approach GS. That, see, the glide slope is also coming in. Lovely stuff. And we are currently on 6 mile final. Dodge traffic, Bonanza 8 Delta 6 mile final, runway 02. Okay, and there's the descent as well. Lovely stuff. So RPM can go full forward now. I'll reduce the power to 15 inches manifold pressure for the descent. Let's run the approach checklist then. Seat belts are secure. Fuel selector, fullest tank. So actually the left tank is the fullest tank now. So let's go over there. Oxygen is off, landing lights. I'll get the taxi light on as well. I'm going to pull the power a little bit more. P2 heat on if OAT less than 4 degrees. OAT is 11 degrees, that's fine. Prop heat off, air conditioning is off, cowl flap as required, I will open them. Make sure it is on maximum and flaps approach. I won't do that yet, I'll slow down a little bit. Looking for the runway, there it is, you can just about see the pappies. Try and slow it down here. Now the go around altitude is 4,600 feet, so I'll leave that there. And as soon as we get into the white arc, I can reduce my, I can put the flaps down. Now we will try and take the first left turn. That'll be the quickest way to the ramp. Right, we are now in the white arc just, so we'll put the first stage of flapping and you'll see the speed decrease. We'll also get the gear down. And now watch all that extra drag really slows down. 3 green, flaps
500.
We'll put the second stage of flapping. And we're going to slow it down to 71 knots. And we'll make one call, one final call here before I disconnect the autopilot. Dodge traffic, Bonanza 8 Delta, short final, runway 02. Alright, I'll disconnect there then. Autopilot was getting us a little bit low, but that's because we're well below, almost below minimums. And we'll just hand fly it in now then. It is actually a little bit foggy. We are live time, live weather. Oh, now we're high. nothing on the runway. Looks all clear to me. We're still high and fast.
Traffic citation 282 taxiing to runway 2, Dodge.
It's definitely windy.
Dodge traffic Cessna 272 taxiing to runway 2, Dodge.
All the power. There's an aircraft. Oh, hello. That's gonna be a go around. Going around. That King Air taking off towards the totally threw me off. We'll regain 70 knots. Okay, we've got a positive climb. Flaps up to the approach. And we'll call them this approach. 80 knots, flaps can go up. Trim. Dodge traffic, Bonanza 8 Delta Delta going around. Okay, we'll make a visual pattern here. Go to 1,000 above. Airport elevation. Uh, 2,600. Alright, so we can go up to 3,600 for a circuit then. I know there's a whole missed approach procedure, but at the end of the day we are. That's 3,600. There we are, so we'll maintain that. But there's the airport, that's the parallel runway. Got it in sight. Yeah, so that other aircraft taking off on the opposite runway really threw me off there. Again, like I said, same tension traffic, not perfect by any means. Still get situations like that. Looking for that airport. Right turn here, looking up over the horizon there for any other aircraft on the approach. Looking good. Don't see anything. Turn for base. Alright, so I'll put the first stage of flap in. Feel that nose coming up. Airport. There it is. Where is this runway? I don't see it at all. Oh, there it is. I've got the runway. There we are, that'll help. Got the runway inside there. Got 2 white, 2 red on the Pappy. Now 1 white. I will go gear down, second stage of flap. That's the gear warning. have got 3 green, that's good. Alright.
Dodge traffic, citation 282, departing
We have a
runway 2.
traffic warning. I don't see anything around me though.
500.
Oh, there's one taking off. I have no idea why they're taking off. They're saying they're taking off runway 2, but then they're taking off on the opposite side. I have no idea why they're doing that. Anyway, let's get this landing out of the way. Dodge traffic, Bonanza 8 Delta Delta, short final, runway 02. Not a great showcase here, but still high. That's better. Still aircraft taking off towards me for some reason. Oh, why are we stuttering all of a sudden? Oof. Come on. No stutters, please. Hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. Alright, we're down. Jeez. It is windy. Right, I'm going to slam the brakes a little bit because I want to take this runway as an exit. Right. I'll have a look at why Say Intentions are deciding to use the opposite runway today. No idea why. We'll make a left onto Bravo here. Dodge traffic, Bonanza 8 Delta Delta, vacated runway 02. Alright. We'll take this to the ramp. There's a little Cessna there in front of us. Not sure what all those stutters were about on final there. Just Microsoft Flight Sim things. We'll take a right here. What is that sound? Ah, PC6? Look at that. Don't see that very often. Oh, hello, let's not hit that. The Texan there, very nice. Let's put it next to this. I don't know what that sound is, that's really loud. Can't tell if it's my aircraft or something else. Reset the RPM to 1200. Interesting. Okay. Right. Brakes are on. So, landing. Yeah, we did all that. After flight, after landing, then. So, cow flap open, which it is. Flaps up. Weather radar off. Standby. We get our lights off here. Pitot heat is off, air conditioning as required, cabin heat, we'll push it all the way in now. Shut down then, parking brake is set, avionics can go off. Sub panel switches can go off, so this is fine, strobe off. Throttle will close it entirely. And then the propeller stays in high RPM, but we kill the mixture. There we are. Mags off. And we just turn all of this off now. Alrighty. I don't know what that sound is still. Okay, so put the control locks on, which are over here. We'll get the chocks, pitot covers on. Oh, hello. Okay, I have no idea why that affected things, but interesting. But yeah, there we are. We can actually get the parking brake off now. We can hop out of our lovely aircraft here. And there we are. We have made it to... Looks like a crop duster there. We have made it here to... Where are we? Dodge City Regional Airport in this absolutely beautiful Bonanza here by Black Square. Really, really nice. Really enjoy it. I think most of the issues that we saw today were nothing to do with the aircraft. They were indeed just me. Total pilot error. Same tensions. Didn't have too much fun here. Ooh, something. Is that the PC6 starting up? No, something just started up. But yeah, same tensions had a few issues, but nothing to worry about. They generally fix these things pretty quick, so not to worry at all. But yeah, that was the Black Square Beechcraft Bonanza A36. Fantastic aircraft. Do go ahead and pick up the pack if you haven't already, because it's a beautiful, beautiful aircraft to fly. Really, really enjoy it. We should be back tomorrow or the day after in the Baron. We'll be in the Baron pressurized. And we'll take that on a trip in the south of Spain, which should be a lot of fun as well. That'll be a twin, so a lot more power, which will be a lot of fun. Thank you very much, Dan. Really, really appreciate that. Yeah, first one back in a little while, so a bit rusty. But we'll get back into a bit of a rhythm here with the streams. And at some point, we'll get back into the airliners as well. But, you know, as I said earlier, I've been really enjoying my GA flying recently. I really, really have. You can hear the engine cooling down there as well, by the way. The metal cooling. Really, really cool. I love that. Really nice. But yeah, we'll leave it here. Thank you all so much for being here. We'll be back in the Baron. Roughly a B55 next time. And I will see you then.